G'day everyone. For those of you who came in late, you're listening to X-Band, the Phantom Podcast.
Years ago, he washed ashore the sole survivor of a shipwreck, and upon the skull of the man who killed his dad, he said, "I'm mad, I must eradicate piracy, injustice and cruelty, and all my sons will follow me, so evildoers will believe that this man cannot die." The Phantom, the ghost who walks. The Phantom, enemies beware. The Phantom's always there, but you won't.
G'day, we are the Chronicle Chamber team, and this is the X-Band, the Phantom Podcast. Our website is chroniclechamber.com, and you can contact us via email, chroniclechamber@gmail.com. You can subscribe to us via YouTube or through your favourite podcast apps, including iTunes or Spotify. This is episode 211, our January 2022 news podcast. It's the first for the year. We've had to actually... we usually do comics and news together, but because there's been so much news and there's been so much comics since our last podcast, we've had to break them up a bit. So our next episode, 212, will be the comics review. I'm Steve. How you going? I know it's been a couple of months. Hopefully you can recognise my voice. I'm joined by both the fellas today. G'day, Jermayn. How are you? He's busy there.
Not bad, mate.
Laughing at me going off script and then going back to the script and saying, "Oh no, I've said that."
Yeah, you think after like 220 plus episodes, we would learn how to read off the script. But I guess that's what makes this enjoyable for some people is that it is just a couple of blokes chatting Phantom. So it's good to see you, mate. How you been?
Yeah, been busy over the Christmas break and January now, and work started back, so it's all happening. The weather's nice, so all good. And what about you there, Dan? How's things up north?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. We're having our own pandemic fun in the household. It's all come closer than it has before, but that's okay. We've let it wash over it. We're over us, and we're living with it now, and all of those good things apparently. So all's well that's trucking along. Not where at least Queensland's not like WA, who really is on the other side of the world and creating their own little fortress at the moment. Jim.
Yes, it is. But just as well, we've got the Phantom to get our minds off all the politics.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Well, you guys have been lucky. I got locked down there for a good 16 days, and due to COVID problems and all that sort of stuff, deliveries were late. So I won't be joining you for the next episode about the comics because I've only just received my comics. So I know what I'm doing this week is I'll be reading the annual and Femme Fatale, and I'm looking forward to doing them both. But I have had the dailies and the Sundays to get me through every day and get my Phantom fixed. But also, where I began my Phantom fix is the amount of news, absolute truckloads of news has come through in the last couple of months. And lots of things coming from Boss Fight Studio. I think the latest thing that's come out is cartoon-style figurines. This is going to be the year of Phantom figures, I think. 2022. It is 2022. I haven't reached 2023 yet. No, it's still 2022. So yeah, Boss Fight Studio are putting out there's about 3 different sets I think now. We've got a 3-inch figurine. Are we going to get this up on screen?
Yeah, I can get that up on screen if you like. I'm amazed that Boss Fight are creating and sharing so much stuff, and I'm not sure if that's how that's looking for you. I'm just amazed with Boss Fight at the moment how much news is coming out of them, and we can see here this is the 3-inch figurines, little what do they call it? Assorted pack, blind bag.
Blind bags, yeah.
Yeah. Now, your kids are a little bit older, Dan, so they might not be involved with blind bags. Stephen, do your kids buy all those blind bag things and those YouTube videos and stuff like that?
Not a great deal. We do see them in the shops, and I think we're all concerned that we can buy a pack of 18. I think the sets come I think there's 10 in the whole set, but you're buying a whole box of 18, and we're all worried that it was all going to be random and we're not going to get an actual Phantom. Have you got any news on that, Jam?
Okay, so basically what it is the pre-order, which you said 18. It's like a box. So those boxes that you see down at like the shops, they come in like little boxes. You'll open it, and then there's 18 per box. So in 18 of those, you're guaranteed a set of 10, which is 5 Phantom and 5 Flash Gordon. So you've got, as you can see, if you're on screen, you'll be able to see it. If not, if you're only on audio, you've got 2 Phantoms, which are separate figurines, which separate poses, which is amazing, separate colours.
Yep, one blue, one purple.
You got Diana in her jungle explorer style clothes. That's my oldest child, probably trying to do something else. You've got Kit Walker. I really like the pose of Kit Walker in this one, where he's got the fedora hat, but he's like got his hands on his cuffs, on the, what would you call it?
Lapels.
The jacket. Yeah, lapels, and it's a really cool pose.
It is. I hope that they've gone into, and I know it's only a 3-inch figure, but I hope that you're able to see the detail of the rings on his fists on the lapel. That'll really, tick it off as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Now 3 inch isn't very big.
No, it's not. It's tiny.
And so these aren't articulated like they're 4-inch and 5-inch, which we'll talk about soon. So basically, you'll be able to buy these blind bags individually eventually, but for the pre-order, you're basically buying a box, and in the box is 18 blind bags, and then you are guaranteed one of each, and then you're going to get 8 assorted doubles. So you might get a couple of extra flashes, or you might get a couple of extra phantoms. So not everyone is probably going to buy a box of 18. If you can't buy a box of 18, which it works out to be, again, you can see it on screen. All the details are on our website. It's $250 Australian plus postage and taxes. Is taxes supposed to be ES, or is it? I've just spotted a spelling mistake.
It is supposed to be.
So that's about €160, 180 US, and 1,650 Swedish and Norwegian as well. So there will be other stores around Australia that will probably list them, and you'll be able to buy the individual bags. But then what you also do is, which I think is going to be interesting, is the secondary market, where you're going to have people like probably, just throwing names. There's probably going to be a few fans that I can pick at the top of my head that are probably going to be buying 2 or 3 of these boxes and probably trying to resell the Phantom figurines to be able to get some of their money back and make some money. So I think I would say I'll be interested in what your guys' thoughts are, but I reckon probably 50% of fans will buy theirs probably from the secondary market, purely because they don't want to use blind bags.
Oh, and look, blind bags, that doesn't faze me. Like, if I'd probably be quite happy to get a set of 10. I don't need the other 8. Like, I don't. It's a weird number. Why 18? Why not 20 and have 2 complete sets per box? I get there's a novelty value to it and an excitement value, but for me, I guess at my stage of my collecting, I'm probably not going to buy a blind bag, even as I sort of thought I might. But as we sit here and talk about it, $250 before it even gets posted to you from America, that's a lot of money for you to be guaranteed 5 Phantom figures. And you don't know what seconds you're going to get. The Flash Gordon characters are all well and good, but I'm not a Flash Gordon fan, so that's not for me. So I'm probably looking more at the secondary market, I'd say.
It's iffy for me. I'd really like to get it, but yeah, $250 for a whole, plus taxes and what have you.
If they were 20 per box and 2 sets, Steve, you and I could go halves. We'd both be happy to split the shipping and get a full set each.
Yeah, that'd work out a treat. Also, you mentioned 4 Phantom figurines, but you forgot to mention Devil was also, he's the 5th one.
So we don't have we don't have prices on individual blind bags yet. At a guess, pure guess, what do you think one of each of these figurines will go for in the secondary market? I reckon
what they should go for is $10 US, because it's $180 US for a.
Yeah, so I'm talking about secondary market, knowing what you buy for. Obviously, you will be spending more.
I mean, the secondary market. Are you talking people on Facebook and eBay? If that's what you. Facebook, or are you talking about local comic stores who buy in bulk and then sell them individually?
Well, you're going to have the same problem with comic book shops and stores, is that they're going to be blind bag. So for people like yourself, Dan, that doesn't want to go down the path of the blind bag in the sense that you don't want a Flash Gordon or a Lineman one in your collection, you'll be mainly after them opened. So, eBay, Trader Joe's, I reckon you'll be looking at about $40 Australian.
Well, I think that's too steep. I think half of that, because half, like $20 a figurine, that's like $360 off 180. I think that's more than fair.
It'll depend on what people are prepared to pay, as with anything. Like if people have my limit to buy multiple bags and they're happy to have a shoebox full of Flash Gordon characters and look, maybe there'll be Flash Gordon podcasts and fans, I'm sure, who'd be keen. So good luck to them if they've got deep enough pockets to be able to do that. But I don't have a small fortune to make a large fortune, if you know what I mean.
So a blind bag, just a blind bag in Australia, I reckon you'll be looking at least probably, I would say about $20, maybe, $15 to $20 for a blind bag in Australia. Unopened blind bag. If there was a comic book shop that was trying to sell it.
Yeah.
But I find the whole thing from Boss Fight interesting. Like, I love those characters, and I can't wait to have the 5 of those toys on the shelves behind me. But the Boss Fight just seemed to be boom, 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 announcing heaps. And to be blunt, and Eric's heard this before and responded to it, so I'm just putting it out there as an opening for his perspective, the owner of Boss Fight. But they're talking a lot and delivering little at the moment, to be blunt.
Yeah. So it's a very good point. So the main reason why they're announcing it is because of I believe it's the New York Toy Convention or the Toy Fair or something like that. So these announcements coincide with that comic. It's like a Comic-Con but for toys.
Yeah.
So I believe that's why they're all at this time, is because that the Toy Fair, and that was when NECA and Boss Fight first announced their other figurines.
Because I've just got up on screen for YouTube listeners, watchers, the 5-inch figurine, which has been released in the last month as well, the last 2 or 3 weeks.
So this is the Power Stars 5-inch figure?
That's right.
Yeah, so this is based on like the old school, like Super Friends type figures, I think. Like the old Batman and Superman and all that type of stuff that came out from DC.
And he does look really cool.
He does look. I think he looks great. He's not he doesn't have 100 points of articulation, but he can move your arms, and he's got his knees bent, and he looks really good. He looks like the Phantom. He's still I was about to swear there, but he still is a lot better than the movie Phantom.
The Galoob figure.
And that one too.
Yeah, but I don't think it's that hard. So yeah, this is the third figurine that Boss Fights have style figurine that they've announced. So this is going to be their largest one. It's it's $22 Australian. No, US.
$30 Australian, 22 US.
Now, obviously, that's before shipping, and then shops in Australia do put their markup and all that as well. So, for example, the Boss Fights 4-inch one, I believe, was 25 US, and then in Australian shops, i.e. Pop Culture, they were selling it for 49 Australian. So these will likely probably be at 20 US. They'll probably be, I would say they'll probably be about the $40 to $50 mark again in Australia shops.
And this is why it would be fantastic if they'd been spread out across the time frame that I know Boss Fight would have liked to have them produced, because it's a lot easier to have one Phantom toy arrive in the mail and disappear from the bank account per month or per 2 months. Having them all arrive in the same little period of time is going to be tricky.
Yeah, one per year would have been happy with one per year. Like it's easy to do.
I don't know. I'm a glutton. I like the idea of having all of them. So we've got.
Oh yeah, I like the idea of having all of them, but I'm just I know the hit is going to take.
Spread them out.
So it is going to be spread out over the year. Obviously, the 3-inch and the 5-inch are pre-order at the moment. So to kind of give you an idea, now we believe these are the release dates. These are the release dates that we managed to pry out of Eric's hands and in what they've released with the 3-inch and the 5-inch. So the Hero Hacks, which is the 4-inch figurine, they have been made, shipped, and they're being shipped at the moment on a boat on the way to the US. So we believe that we're looking at a realistic date of hitting shelves, and even probably March, April. So it's not too far away. No word yet on the Hero one, and I'm not sure when Wave
In the Hero figure, the horse.
Yeah, when with the horse.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure when Wave 1.5 comes out. I think it will be fairly quickly followed. Now, the 3-inch blind bags, which were the first ones we talked about, which are the set of 10. Now, they're pre-order at the moment. They're likely to be shipped for pre-orders and then in shops July, August. So that's still, 4 or 5 months away.
Mm.
Now, the 5-inch one, which is the one that we just saw, which is the Power Stars one, they're going to be more towards the end of the year, like October, November, and then maybe even December. So that's still, 10 months away.
Yeah. Yeah, so that time frame and spread out like that is going to be easier to purchase. And even at $30-$40 each, like the Hero Hacks and the Power Stars, like that's going to be fine because you're only after the one or maybe two if you want to have one to collect and one to play with, sort of thing, one to keep in the box. But the blind bags is the one where it's going to add up quickly if they do go for the sort of prices that you're saying, because that could be $200 for the set of 5 sort of thing. That's starting to get pricey. But gee, as I say, it's going to be so cool to have all of these. We've been saying on the podcast for years and years and years about action figurines and toys to play with and how few there have been. It's hard to imagine that there'll be so many arrive. And we're about to talk about another one from NECA as well. Just all of the toys that are coming out at the moment.
Well, the thing I'm looking forward to the most is on our Best of 2022 podcast that will probably be being released in about 11 months' time, is that it will probably be a harder conversation on what was your favourite memorabilia piece for 2022. The last couple of years during the pandemic, it's been, we've all kind of said the same one or the same two. There's 3, there's 4, we're going to be talking about another couple else as well. So I think the best merchandise for 2022 could be an interesting discussion to have in 10-11 months time.
And very much looking forward to it. Now, for those of you who are looking up on YouTube, you see that NECA has released the 6-inch Phantom superhero figurine. Which is this a new one or is this the old one that's?
So So you go, Dan.
No, I was just going to say probably the same thing as you, Jam. It's the same. It's exactly the same figure as the Defenders of the Earth, NECA Phantom, sitting behind me there. But he's painted in the original Phantom trunks and the original superhero styling rather than the Defenders of the Earth trunk. So he's got the striped trunks this time. Doesn't have laser weapons. Has got the 1911s instead, that sort of thing.
Got to go. Instead of the
packaging's different and his eyes glow. Is that correct?
Yeah, and he's got the skull.
It comes with the skull.
And the skull goes on the head as well, so you can have a whole Ghost Rider thing.
I wonder if that's true or if that was just the early mock-up photos. Like seeing the NECA, I can't see the head coming off that. They'd have to have that. Yeah. But it's interesting. It's a cool little feature. I like this pose that they've got him in, swearing the oath.
I reckon that's brilliant. I'm just about to get the first wave, if you like, the original ones that they've done. And if these appear on the website, I'm going to get them from Pulp Culture. But if these appear on the website as well, it's going to be
I will say this: like the NECA toy was a lot of work. It was probably an hour and a half from getting it out of the box to having it free up enough to play with in the hot bath. And there's a video on our YouTube channel from Unkid, wasn't it, who was showing us how to do that. And I got a lot out of that video. 100% well worth doing. Well worth taking the effort. Well worth playing with the toy, because once he's out and he's moving and he's freed up, a lot of fun. I can't wait to get the original character.
Oh, he looks brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So if you're listening to us on the podcast rather than watching on video, either go to YouTube or go to chroniclechamber.com and check out the story there. The poses.
Yeah, and can you just go back to that article? Sorry, mate.
Sure.
What do you guys thought of the packaging? Like YouTube, you'll be able to see it in a second. But the packaging, it looks scuffed up. But it's actually the design of it. Like there's a crease as you look at it in the top right-hand corner. On the left-hand side, there's it looks like little scuff marks, like it's been created.
Pretty worn.
10, 20 years ago. Yeah, it's got that worn feature. What do you guys thought of that? Do you like that, or is it just something really gimmicky in it? Kind of. I admit that I don't really like it. It just looks gimmicky. It looks cheap.
Well, you've probably got it all on display and you like things nice, neat and clean. For me, that's what toys look like. They come, they get scuffed up and they've been well loved. So I don't mind it.
There was one eBay listing and it had a note saying, "The box is not damaged, it came like this," or something like that.
It is a design feature.
I kind of wish they used a better image of the Phantom in the bottom left-hand corner as you look at it on the screen. It's got the classic arms folded, but I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't really like that picture, so I would have.
Yeah, it looks like a poor man's version of the Cyberry title, doesn't it? It's not. It's not quite.
Now, obviously, we're nitpicking here. Now we've got figurines coming out of our eyeballs, and we're just, we're picking on little design flaws like scuff marks, where 3 years ago we wouldn't have really cared.
Yeah. Let's look at what we're really talking about here.
This is what we're really talking about. That is brilliant. That is a good looking figure.
Yeah.
So we must make mention, and we will have a link on our YouTube, also on our audio as well. If you are around Australia, but also around the world, we have found a few places that sell these figurines. So if you can't buy them from the US, you go to this link, and it will actually give you a couple of options, including like Scandinavia. I believe there's one in was England. There's for the Indian fans and stuff like that as well. We've got a link that you can purchase there, and there's about 4 or 5 in Australia as well. So, even if you don't live in the US and you can't get these at Walmart, there's plenty of opportunities for you to be able to get these, and most of them stock both the NECA and also boss fights as well. So you do not have to miss out. You obviously got to pay for postage, but you do not have to miss out. It may take you a while to get them with postage around the world slower than pre-COVID, but there is opportunities for you to be able to get them no matter where you live.
Very much looking forward to all this happening. So they're out now. You can get them. You can actually buy them now. People have actually.
They're in Walmart. So
Walmart
NECA has So NECA has a deal with Walmart where all their figurines are released by them only for the first month, and then it comes to the others like Target and stuff like that. They're on eBay. You can buy a figurine for $50 US. Plus postage. So if there's no Walmart near you and you can't wait, you'll be able to get it there as well. So but you can buy them now.
Very good. Geez, it'd be good if they came to Target and Big W and Kmart here in Australia. That'd be good. But they'll take money out of pop culture and whoever else is selling them here in Australia. Anyway, moving on. We've got moving on from toys, so we've had a whole bunch of toys, and I really am excited about being able to play with those. And I was actually thinking about that blind bag. That if I buy a box of 18, whatever doubles I get, I'm just going to give to Jeremy, my boy.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what I'll do, rather than make any cash whatsoever off the second-hand market.
If there is anyone out there that is going to buy that box, let us know. We'd like to hear what your thoughts are and how you're going to justify it and what you're going to do with the doubles and stuff like that as well.
You
So,
might have to that meme that I shared this morning.
yeah.
Okay, next up, coming out of Scandinavia, we have the Mr. Walker trench coat and bag. And this is from A Day's March. I think that's the name of the and there we have the one and only, I'm going to get his name wrong.
Jan.
You see, I was going to say Jan. I was going to say it wrong straight away.
Halfstrom?
Jan Halfstrom. And as you can see, if you can just, those of you who are watching on YouTube, but Jan has created or designed some clothes as well as some bags for this company called A Day's March, which are Phantom inspired. And you may remember that a number of years ago he created this sculpture, and there's a link to it in Stockholm. I think it's near the train station, isn't it?
It is.
Which has Mr. Walker running towards the station, I believe. And so a couple of these bags, like tote bags, canvas bags, if you like, have that image of, and there's two, one's red, one's blue, of the running Mr. Walker, the ghost who runs. There's a couple of skull motif T-shirts and long sleeve tees, I think, maybe even jumpers and hoodies. But what's got us salivating at the mouth and realizing that we really don't have a couple of grand to spend on these, but
a couple
would be awesome. There's a blue and a red trench coat, which for those of you who live in Melbourne will be just a thing for a Melbourne winter. I don't know if you'll get much wear out up in sunny Queensland or blistering Perth, but I reckon if you're a Phantom fan, or Mr. Walker fan, and you live in either Sydney or Melbourne, you need to get this. And money's no object. You need this trench coat.
I think that is the key there, Steve. Money's no object, because a couple of $1,000 Australian dollars for a jacket. That's. I was squeamish about what a $180 blind bag before. So I love the trench coat though. I love the look of it.
I want to see someone wear this trench coat to one of the Phantom dinners.
Yeah,
there has to be someone who will be able to buy one of these and wear it to the. It is a statement piece. It is.
I really like just the pictures of it in the catalogue, so to speak. But the photo of Jan actually wearing it makes you go, oh, actually, this is a real item of clothing. And it's probably, for the price of it, it's going to be high-end quality as well. So, it looks magnificent. It's I've probably never really imagined the Phantom's trench coat in either blue or red, though. For mine, it was probably always, in my head, a tan or a beige with the check pattern through it. Interesting choices of colours.
So if you had a couple of grand, Dan, would you go the blue or the red? Let's just say, I'm not going to say that money's no object. I'm saying you've only got a couple grand.
Money's no object, but I can only afford one. I probably would get the blue, I think.
The blue? What about you there, Jermaine?
Probably the red, but blue doesn't surprise me. It will go well with your blue Christmas hat.
What about you, Steve?
Well, the blue would bring out my eyes, but the red would also bring out the bloodshot. So bring out the bit of Scott that I've got. So when I grow my beard, it actually goes a bit rusty, a bit gingery. So, but I might like to accentuate the eyes and go the blue.
I think the tote bag is probably more realistically in my price range, and I am looking forward to picking up a couple of one of each of those. I'd love to think. So the tote bags are about $20-$25 Australian. Is that right, Jerm?
Yeah, I think it might be in the article somewhere. The price, I can't remember the top of my head, but
150 sec anyway. So whatever that comes back to in Australian.
Yeah.
So just for people to be able to have a regarding these tote bags, we're getting one for a future Patreon prize. It has already been purchased. and it is it's been purchased and it's been delivered to Mikkel over in Sweden. He's actually done an unveiling video of it. And then so there's the video of that. It's also going to be on YouTube as well. So for one of our next prizes, as soon as we get it from Sweden, it will be as well, which I'm pretty excited about. I reckon that'll be a pretty cool prize.
And I may have mentioned before, we've got the Mr. Walker in the trench coat. I may have mentioned about the skull motif that he's used in a couple of T-shirts and also on tote bags. It's not like a traditional Phantom mark. It's kind of like a big head and the little teeth, if you like. So it's a bit of a redesign on it.
I reckon that's probably
like a variation of a theme, but it's still, Phantom inspired. Sorry, what was that, Jim?
I reckon it's probably for license.
Yeah. So there we go. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, we've got the hoodies, we've got the jumpers. And you see there's a little this little thing in the corner there, which is $9.95 SEK. And
which is a lot of money for
for a
something
jumper.
that's small, which
isn't really Phantom. Yeah.
Yep.
no.
I did do the conversion back when this came out, and I thought, that's probably a bit out of my price range.
Yeah,
for a jumper.
the tote bags is probably
The tote bags are very much in the price range. Like I said, about $25 Australian. I'm just going off the top of my head there. But yeah, I don't think that's actually got a KFS tick of approval. Neither does the next thing that we're talking about, which is from Marco Navas Estudio in Spain. And these are unlicensed Phantom statues, which are just coming up on screen now if you're doing on the YouTube. So we've got the Phantom on the skull. We've got Diana in the jungle outfit, which was also in the blind box. It looks like we got Gran there, and does the other tribal warrior have a name there?
no.
Just
And then
random.
of course you've got the X-Band.
The X-Band radio sitting there, Devil at Phantom's feet, and a skull with a fire in a cauldron sitting there, which kind of looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like the X-Band.
I will admit
transmitter.
these look homemade. I don't want to sound like they look cool, but they look kind of cheapish.
His head's too small for his body.
Yeah, the head's too small. So for the whole set, it's €150, which is about 170 US, 240 Australian, and about 1,550 second NOK, which is Sweden and Norwegian. Or you can buy them individually. Again, all this information is on our website as well. This is the second time this studio has released something. They've also released a Phantom on I can't remember, Phantom standing on a skull, or like a little mini skull cave, which was a similar design of something that Joan Voigt did as well. So look, they're all sold out. They were in 3 colours: purple, blue, red. I know of a couple of Australian guys that have brought this set. They swear by it. They say it's really good. That the paint job's done well. That's top notch. The service is done well.
How big are they, Jay?
Sorry?
How big are they?
They're probably 4 or 5 inches, I would say. So they're not huge. I'm personally not going to get them. I've got a few other things that I need to pay off and stuff like that. But there's people out there that have brought them that are very happy with them. So yeah.
What about you, Dan?
Yeah, so no, it is the short answer. I won't be getting them. I haven't drawn a firm line through my collecting of it must be licensed, but it's certainly preferable. And there's a lot out there to buy at the moment. So not in my wheelhouse at the moment. These ones, I don't mind the look of them, and probably if I could see them in real life, I'd be perhaps more impressed. I don't know, because the other work from the studio there, Marco Navas Studio out of Spain, looks really good. So they do some really nice work and probably is good quality, but probably just not in my price range at the moment.
Fair enough. Next point we've got is what's to come with Phantom in 2022. So this is touching on comics, I guess, here in the news. We've got more of the 22nd Phantom Saga. We've got the last of Coulter Murphy's stories and Hans Lindahl reprints. What's to go with what's happening in Phantoman?
So this is all out of the editorial from Phantoman at the start of the year, and we've republished that on our website, the translated on our website.
Yeah. So Andreas, when we did a podcast with him, he announced half of this stuff, or majority of this stuff, in the podcast for us. So he's really, so he put it in the editorial in Phantom Man number 1 for 2022. Mikkel's translated for us. So look, if you're a Phantom Man reader, I get the comics. I get the comics. I enjoy them. Most people will recognise this one, recognise the story in it. They're great comics. I enjoy getting them. I enjoy flicking through them, and I know there's a few others that do as well. And of course, you've got probably half of the readers of the Phantom comic buy this comic. So it was nice for Andreas to kind of like give everyone a bit of a heads up of what's to come. Hans Lindahl is still one of my probably top 5 Phantom artists of all time. So, getting stories from him again is nice in a Phantom Man comic as well. And he is on my bucket list to get on this podcast.
Probably the one I'm most interested there is the fact that we're going to see what happens next in the 22nd Phantom Saga, and I'm not sure how much of this, and maybe it says in the article, but I'm not sure how much of the 22nd Phantom Klaus Ramirthi went on and wrote, and at what point it gets taken over by somebody else. We know from Andreas that he wasn't necessarily a big fan of the direction that Klaus may have been taking parts of it, and they might be trying to reel it back. So I'll be keen to see how they handle the story and where they take the whole Sandal Singh, Nadir Singh situation.
So all these stories are written by Klaus.
Oh dear.
I believe it's 2 stories, but it might be 3. I know last year Phantom Man published 4 stories, which through English readers have not seen yet. So by the end of this year, there could be 6 parts. So maybe Fru's waiting for these other 2 or 3 to be published, and then they're going to publish them all together, which I would actually kind of like, whether they do it in a 100-page issue to kind of not saturate it too much, or do the 4, have a couple of issues, and then go into the other 2 or something. But we're going to get at least, or Phantom Man readers are going to probably get at least 2, I believe.
And will it be all wrapped up then?
I get the feeling, I don't know this for certain, but I get the feeling no. I get the feeling that this is going, until the fans do a revolt and say no more, like they did with the Labunga series. I get the feeling that we will, for the foreseeable future, have 2 timelines in our Phantom comic, one of the 21st and one of the 22nd. But I think that's something we can discuss and speculate a little bit more on, maybe when we get the stories in a free comic and stuff like that. It could be a nice, fun discussion about whether we, whether it should continue or not.
Don't know how fun it will be, but it'll definitely be a good discussion. Okay, and at the moment you can vote for the best Phantom Man 2021 story. One of these stories has already been printed by Fru, which was Nosferatu's Revenge, which rated very well in our own polling.
As predicted by me.
As predicted by Jermayn, and kind of surprised by me. I liked it, but I didn't think it was best story.
As I say to my kids, mate, I'm always right.
Rule number 1, I'm always right. Rule number 2, if ever I'm wrong, please see rule number 1. Next up, we've got a GoFundMe campaign for Wolfrick Media's Phantom Treasure. There's a bit going on with this. They made like a set of miniatures or little miniature.
Yeah, so it's the little miniatures that go with the game. Now, I will admit, I'm still a little bit baffled by the whole concept of one, the GoFundMe page, and then the email that we got afterwards about pre-ordering a set and stuff like that. I'm a little bit confused. I will admit I've got a fair bit going on at the moment privately and also with the fans and all that. So I haven't actually replied to his emails, which is something that I really should be doing because I wouldn't mind actually getting a little bit of clarity on it. But from what I understand, and Dan, you might be able to correct me if you know anything more, that basically if you put a pre-order in with him, he wants a minimum of 100 fans saying, yes, I'm in, I'm committed. So then that way it kind of funds or ensures that the project which he is wanting to do can actually be financially viable. Is that how you understand it, Dan?
Yeah, you're right. It is a bit of a confusing one, and personally, I'm not sure that GoFundMe was the right fundraising platform for something like this. I think we've seen Kickstarters work well. You know, but all the Phantom Kickstarters we've seen over the last 2 or 3 years, you can say what you like about time and processes and all that sort of thing, but they've generated some sensational products and some really high quality things. I'm really pleased to have in my collection and games to play.
Another one a little bit later on too.
Yes, exactly right. So the fundraisers, the Kickstarter seem to be the way to go. The GoFundMe, I personally always associate that with fundraising for after a tragedy and that sort of stuff. So not quite sure that that's the right process to have gone down. It is a bit confusing, and I'm sure that once the people at Reaper's Quest get a bit of a stronger handle on how they want to produce this item, because we've seen sorry.
The concept is great. Of the online game type thing. Little figurines look amazing, but it's just.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with the quality. That looks great.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the quality, and we've seen it with the hats, seen it with the rings, and everything that they do is top quality.
Mm.
I'm confused, and so I'm sure there's a few other fans out there that are confused as well. And I want to read the email a few more times before I actually reply to know what questions to ask and stuff like that. And I'm sure there's probably a few other fans out there that are in a similar boat that are just as confused or maybe even more confused as what I am.
Okay. Moving on, Lion Muthu Comics bringing out a Tamil Phantom trade paperback.
So basically, this is another Indian publisher, a third Indian publisher that will be publishing Phantom Comics in 2022. So Tamil is a language. I think in that article somewhere it talks about, it's around 80 million Tamil speakers in the southern part of India. So how many people will we got in Australia?
Not 80 million.
Well, about what?
About 25, isn't it? 25.
So 25. You're looking at there's almost 3 times more Tamil speakers than there is Australians. So the market's there for 3 publishers, I guess, publishing the Phantom. The thing that is slightly confusing about this trade paperback is that not only with the Phantom, they're publishing the Phantom, they're publishing Mandrake, Rip Kirby, Flash Gordon, and Secret X9, which is like another comic strip. To be able to buy the trade paperback, you have to buy all 5 of them, and then to be able to order it from them, you order all 5, you get all 5 books. But at the moment, there isn't a way of just ordering one book, i.e. just the Phantom one. So it's a little bit harder for just Phantom fans. But if you're a classic newspaper strip fan and you're a Tamil reader, this is fantastic news.
Now, are these new stories or are they just reprinted from the newspaper?
So they're Cyberry classics.
Cyberry classics.
I'm not sure if they're in colour or black and white.
So we'll find that out and get it back to you. Will you be getting a Germ, seeing as they're international?
Yes, I've already got one of my Indian friends who is on the hunt to looking for one. He's going to have to basically get it from the second, not directly from the publisher, because I don't want Mandrake, Secret Agent X9, and all these other books. I just want the Phantom. So he's going to have to basically get it from a second.
What line Muthu Comics should have done is put them in blind bags for you, and you'd have to buy them.
Good work, Dan. Good work. Now, are these out now, or are they still to come?
I believe they're not out yet. I believe it's out in the next month or two.
Very good.
Well, actually, yeah, no, I think it's out in the next month or two.
Okay, so hopefully all those Tamil readers, or those who can speak it and read it, or who maybe even be listening to our podcast or watching us right now on YouTube, there you go. You have a Phantom comic in your native language. Congratulations. This next point, I am really excited to be talking about. This next point, I think it's fantastic, and everyone knows my thoughts on Paul Mason. If you listen to the best of 2021, I ranked him probably number one in everything that he did. So it comes as no surprise that I'm ecstatic to say that he has an exhibition. Not only he has two exhibitions, one in Brisbane and one in Thailand. Dan, I think you're all over this one, mate. What can you tell us about what's happening with Paul?
Yeah, it's been a busy start of 2022 for Paul Mason, because it probably wasn't a surprise to see that he had a collection of his artwork going into the Brisbane Central. I think it's right in Central Square. So it's Brisbane Square Library. Sorry, Brisbane Square Library. No surprise to see that he's got an exhibition there, because he has had a display of his artwork up in the Brisbane Square Library before. So it was good to see that there's a fresh lot of work going up in there. The way it decorates the young adult section in the library must be a delight. So it's not an art exhibition in the way that you go to a gallery and all the rest of it. It's a really good place to inspire some kids as they're looking around at books, and you can see there some of the photos on the screen if you're on YouTube of what it looks like there, and just the fact that it's not all Kid Phantom this time. There is a few more Kid Phantom pictures as well, but also a focus on the Phantom Vietnam stories as well. Some black and white images, some not, and I was really excited to see the Chronicle Chamber, the Bushfire fundraiser book. And somehow I've broken the video, but the fundraiser book getting up. We'll come back. No, let's talk about this now. The two of the posters that Paul hung in the Brisbane Square Library are big A1 colour posters of scenes from an upcoming book, that hasn't yet been published by Frew, is how he put it on his website. And we see there that it would seem that we have a Masked Marvel sequel that Paul has drawn.
That's probably, that's amazing. Masked Marvel is one of my most favourite stories. I love that story. I remember, I think it might have been with you, Dan. We were after a dinner. I think there was you, me, Paul, and Duncan. And basically, we were pitching to Paul that he needs to do a Masked Marvel sequel story. And yeah, so it's nice to be able to see a conversation we had, 2-3 years, would have been 2019. So yeah, 3 years later, we might see something coming out of that conversation. So that's what I'm excited about.
Well, I'm not going to try and claim that we pitched the idea. I know that
I'm claiming it.
You can claim it. I'm not going to say that. I can't remember that. I'm not saying that story is not true, but that's not how I remember it. But I have a few more beers at the Phantom Dinners than you do too. So you probably got a better memory.
I think you drink my share.
But we know that Paul's a boxing fan and a martial arts, not just a fan, but he also, I can't remember which martial art it was that he does, but he's very, very good at it and has a keen interest in it. So looking forward to not only this artwork is phenomenal, but also looking forward to this upcoming story. Hopefully it gets published soon by Frew.
Yeah, I have a feeling that this is Paul's not the sort of person who's going to blow his own trumpet or release information before Fru do. He's always very, very good about his confidentiality, and he'll just talk about it once it's published, that sort of thing. For him to have put these posters up, I have a feeling that it must have been done for quite some time, and he's probably just going, look, I've got the artwork here. It's time for me to get it out there, even if Fru haven't yet.
Yeah, time to share.
If you look at this, so again, if you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see it. But if not, if you're on audio, make sure you go to our website and have a look at it. There's a picture of the Phantom crouching down, and in the background, there's all little boxing things in there. So you've got the Ali, you've got the Rumble of the Jungle, but a couple of interesting ones. You've got Balboa versus Creed 2. And then you got Fraser versus Parker.
Really?
Yeah, do too. We're top billing above Mora versus McCoy and Falk versus Barry. I hadn't seen that before.
So I'm sure there's a few others that we've missed. So go and have a look at that picture. Have some fun, and we all know that Paul Mason enjoys putting little Easter eggs, and he's a huge Rocky fan, so I'm not surprised to see Rocky versus Creed in there. So there's a few other things in there as well. Go have a look. You'll have a little chuckle when you have a look at some of those little posters, and I'm sure there's a few others that I've missed as well.
So we've only been talking about half of it, though. We're talking about the Australian League. He's also having work being shown in Thailand. So this, I think, is the first time the fan's been back in Thailand since the movie. What's happening there, Dan?
Yeah, so it's an exhibition in Thailand, a travelling exhibition of Australian artwork going to Thailand this year. We got the announced date of the exhibition opening date of 16th of March. Illustrate Your Life is the mob putting it on in conjunction with the Australian Embassy in Thailand. So obviously it's it must be connected through the tourism departments and all of the sort of thing, cultural sharing of culture and that sort of stuff. And it's an exhibition of Australian comics. So it's not a Paul Mason one-man show all about the fandom. It's a collection of all different types of comic art from Australia, with the goal of promoting Australian arts and culture, reaching out to younger generations around the world, providing educational opportunities and igniting a creative dialogue amongst nations. And for Paul to have his work selected with that criteria in mind to go into this gallery to show the people of Bangkok, I think that's it's good kudos to Paul, and I look forward to seeing some photos of the exhibition once it opens up, and to see what other work is on display as well.
I wonder if Paul gets a trip to Thailand with it.
I doubt it.
That would be kind of cool.
A trip to anywhere would be good. But congratulations, Paul, on your work being selected to go be shown in Thailand. I probably won't go see that one. That might be a bit far. But we're looking at going to Queensland later in the year if everything aligns right. So if your work's still up in Brisbane in September, I might be able to get to have a look at it. I mentioned earlier about the success that Phantom Things have had with Kickstarter, that people have. Games by Leak, of course, Mikhail, who on the podcast with reviews and great friend of us all here, his extension to his critically acclaimed, and I say critically acclaimed because we're critics and we acclaimed it. So Extinction Factor is critically acclaimed Phantom card game. Is coming along nicely. He's got the printer's proof has come through. I think he shared a video of that. Very excited about seeing this extension pack come through. Have we got a date on that? I can't remember off the top of my head.
No, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but I think he's I think it's being printed at the moment.
No, you did say we wanted to share that because the proofs have arrived. That's what the video's of, and they've all gone off to the printer now. So exciting phase.
Phenomenal. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I've got my deck built. I'm ready to go. Maybe I'll play another couple of games of the original, the OG, so I can build my deck a little bit more to go against the Python.
You're probably the one that's used. you're the one that's probably played the game more than probably us put together, Stephen. So in 30 seconds, how much have you enjoyed the game?
How much do I enjoy it? I can tell you in 5. I love it. It is. I really. I'll try and cut it down to 30 seconds. I'll look at my watch. I really like how, like, at the start, I was trying to figure out the rules and how it all goes. But now I think about it like I'm a bit of a casual video gamer, and I think about building XP with every adventure, and I kind of build in my own little rules to go with it. So every time I exhaust a deck, I add in one of those bonus cards that came with it. So that Chronicle Chamber card or whatever it is, and I just shuffle that into the deck, and I'll restart my deck and play wherever I'm up to in the adventure. And yeah, so if I've got that like adventure video game adventure mindset, it made a heck of a lot more sense, and I've really enjoyed my time with it. And a few weeks ago, as I was telling you guys, and I think someone had shared it on Facebook that they had started playing the game. Yeah, good idea. Let's go. So I spent the day playing. I played through all 3 adventures and built the deck up. And like when you first get it and you talk about what do you mean by deck building, and now that's all making sense because you've interacted and played with it a couple of times. And for anyone who actually plays these games, they know it off the top of like the back of their hand. But for those of us coming in it fresh, it was quite easy to pick up, and I am so looking forward to getting this extension pack and playing this new adventure.
Awesome. And that's why our podcast goes for so long. That was a very long.
Because that was about 1:30. Because I wouldn't be doing it justice if I just, like I said, I love it, and I was done in 5 seconds. Then I'll keep talking then. But no, I really, I was actually going to talk more about it, but I'll shut up. But it's a real good game of skill and challenge. So do I bring in the tokens, or do I use the cards? Do I exhaust the cards, or should I try and put them on my playing area? There's a little bit of decision making, and I've just been playing it on normal level at the moment. So my next one, I might go at a harder level now that I've built my deck up a bit more. I've got a bit extra stuff there, so and see how it goes.
Now,
but yeah, it's a real game of skill.
Have you played deck building games before this, or was this your first time?
No, this is the first time.
Yeah. So, and it took you what?
Like my youngest just started getting the
an hour
Pokemon.
or two.
Sorry,
an hour or two to be able to get your head around it.
Oh yeah, probably about an hour. Like the first time you play it, you're playing it with the rule book open, and you're really like I was, because I got Mikhail on Messenger, I was messaging it a bit to make sure what I was doing was right, and so now it's like just free flowing now. But yeah, probably a good hour or good couple of nights to get it up and running. But now it once you got it, it's great. Get into it. Maybe I'll do the video on that one and explain things when the extension pack comes out. I'm so looking forward to it. Other things that people might be looking forward to are the Supernova 2022 dates. So in Melbourne, they are March 5 and 6. Gee, that's coming up quick. Gold Coast, it's April 9 to 10. Sydney is June 18 to 19. Perth is June 25 to 26. Brisbane, November 5th and 6th. And Adelaide, November 12th to 13th. Do we have any news about any special guests, anyone Phantom related coming, or is it everyone it's all just going to be Australian and people just stay to their own states, or people who can travel will?
I reckon you'll don't know about international, but you maybe to Sydney if we are to get one, because that's where most international Phantom guests kind of go to. But I expect probably the Australian crew will probably be at those. So you probably have your Jamies, Andrew, maybe Paul at the Brisbane Gold Coast one. I think Matt Kine was at the Oz Comic Con one a couple of months ago as well. So you'll probably have that core staple doing the rounds as well. But it'll just be interesting, I guess, to kind of see it. The dates for June 18th to 19th for Sydney. There will be another Lee Falk Memorial Bengals Club Explorers Club dinner. So, last year was quieter. I expect it probably to increase a little bit this year as well, as more people are probably a little bit more game to kind of go out into the wildlife.
On a personal note, I really like that Sydney one to be about a weekend earlier because that's too close to my wife's birthday, and I really have to plan some brownie points. It's only a day or two out from that.
Whereas I really needed to be about a week later because that's 1 week before school holidays, and a week later would be in school holidays, which would be a lot easier. But anyway. It's interesting. The June dates for Sydney are only the 2 dates, 18 and 19. Usually, in the past, we would have seen it be a 3-day convention. Obviously, still recovering from the pandemic. Perhaps a few less exhibitors, fewer guests might be why they're only doing the couple of days.
Yeah, look, I expected when I first went to Supernova probably a decade ago. It would have been a decade ago. There was. Everything was in the one building. In the last couple of years, you had the artists and artist alley in a separate building because it gotten a lot bigger. So I expect it to probably decrease a little bit, and then it will probably have to build up again because the pandemic, as we all know, has ruined a lot of
fun things.
A lot of fun things, and unfortunately, it's still going. There's been a few creators and even you guys have been personally affected with it as well. But been talking to a few creators the last couple of months as well, and they've all, still going through it. I was talking to one of our guests last year. He lost 40 pounds after it as well. So it's unfortunately there's people that are still being affected by it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Now, these were just the Supernova dates. Nothing for Oz Comic Con yet?
No, not yet. Oh, there might have been. I don't know. There was an announcement with So we just wanted to share that so people can start planning. Like for instance, Steve, when you figured out that Supernova's in March, you might actually start thinking about going now. So that's basically why we shared it on the podcast.
Less than a month away. We'll see how we go. Actually, it'll be fun to get down there. Any word on Fru attending
No, nothing official. If I had to suggest, or if I had to put my money on it, I would say they probably won't go this year. I know their last time they went in 2019, I think it was, there was a couple of things that kind of happened that it kind of didn't give them a good feeling. And if they didn't go last year for Sydney Supernova, I would say it's probably, this is purely a guess, I'd say it's probably a 60% chance of them not having a stall this year.
Mm-hmm. And we could blame the pandemic, I think, on that one. Just everyone just keeping their cards close. Anyway, I think that's all the news we've got now. Would that be about right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's all from us. Remember, if you've got any news or you'd like to share your opinions on anything that we've discussed today, please contact us either at email on chroniclechamber@gmail.com or hit us up on the socials. We're everywhere. On Facebook, Twitter, and Insta. And of course, always check out chroniclechamber.com. Make it your homepage. Make it the first thing that you open up and see what's happening in the world of the Phantom. By the way, please stay safe, everyone. We know many of our fans and creators who are dealing, we mentioned it just a moment ago, who are dealing still with COVID and COVID-related illnesses, and we hope that you enjoyed this podcast and it helped you to have some fun. Once again, fun with a capital PH. Please subscribe to us via YouTube or through your favourite podcast apps, including iTunes or Spotify. Jermaine?
Thank you, mate. Thank you all. Have some fun. Stay safe, everyone.
And Dan?
Cheers, man.
And from me, happy Phantom.
I must eradicate piracy, injustice and cruelty, and all my sons will follow me, so evildoers will believe that this man cannot die. The Phantom, the ghost who walks. The Phantom, enemies beware. The Phantom's always there, but you won't find the Phantom. I'm